Hello and welcome to Therapy for Your Money. Today, I am talking about some really common financial mistakes that most practice owners make when they are starting their private practice. So obviously, not everyone is going to make every single one of these mistakes, but I wanted to share some lessons learned from just working with thousands of practices over the years and seeing some preventable financial mistakes happen over and over and over again. So here is my top 5. Mistake number 1 is thinking about right now and not about the future. And it's really, really easy to have tunnel vision when you are just starting your practice. There are so many decisions that need to be made, and it can feel like they need to be made right now. But there is a lot of power in thinking about, where do I want the business to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? And setting things up from the very start in a way that is going to serve your vision of the future for your practice. What exactly do I mean by this? All right, I'm going to give you some examples. If you are starting your practice on day 1, it can feel much easier to say, you know what, I'm just going to do business as myself. For now, it's just going to be you operating the business. So we're going to just do business as a sole proprietor, and because that's going to be okay for now. However, if your vision is in 5 years, you're going to have a group practice and you're going to have multiple locations, something that would make things way, way, way easier in the future is if you start a separate legal entity for your business. So that might mean right now starting an LLC or a PLLC, depending on the state that you're in and what is allowed, so that you later can continue to do business with that entity. You later also have the option of making an S Corp election when it makes financial sense for you. But you're not doing business as you with your social security number, because that decision, right? Just being a sole proprietor means that you're opening bank accounts as a sole proprietor. You're opening credit cards as a sole proprietor. You're credentialing as a sole proprietor. And literally every single one of those things will need to change if you later decide to open up a separate legal entity. So thinking about the future and thinking about, where do I want things to go? How can I prepare now? Even though there are small additional costs right now, but that will make things so much easier in the future, where you're not having to start everything over and change everything in your business. Those things will serve you really well. So even though you're in the beginning stage, give some thought to, where would you like things to go? Maybe write a little vision statement for yourself, or spend some time journaling on, where do you see this business going, so that you can set the foundation right now in a way that will continue to allow you to grow towards that goal in the future. Mistake number 2 is not realizing how much time and effort and sometimes money it is going to take to get a business off the ground. If you have entrepreneurship in your heart, I am fully behind you and I want you to start a successful business. But it is going to take a lot of elbow grease. It is going to take a lot of time figuring out things that you may or may not actually be good at to get this business off the ground. Things like, how do I figure out a website? What kind of website do I need? Should I do it on my own? Should I pay someone to do it, right? That's just one tiny little part of starting the business, but that may require you to learn something new. How are you going to market the business? How are you going to keep your financial records? Are you going to learn and use QuickBooks? Are you going to use a spreadsheet? What are the things that you're going to do to stay compliant? How and who is going to do your taxes at the end of the year? There's a million different decisions that you need to make, and they're all going to take some time and some effort. Now, listen, at the beginning of your practice, it's very, very normal that you are going to DIY a lot of different things, just because you often won't have the resources to hire it all out. And most people are in that boat, right? Maybe you are starting a practice while you're still working at an agency. Maybe you just have a shoestring budget to get things off the ground. Most people are not lucky enough to have an unlimited budget to get things started. And so they've got to DIY some things. And then later on, they will redo some of those things or hire those pieces out, right? Like bookkeeping, again, your website, marketing. You're not probably going to do all of those things by yourself forever. But at the beginning, you're going to have to learn a lot of new skill, and that is not easy at all. But one of the mistakes I often see practice owners make in that first year or two is they keep DIYing way longer than they should. And there's things that they absolutely hate, that they avoid, that they are possibly not really good at, that they keep doing way too long, even beyond the point where they can afford to hire someone to help them with that. All right, mistake number 3, and these are all financial mistakes. A lot of practice owners think that they're going to get to keep their full fee when they go into private practice. Like, imagine those big Family Feud buzzers. You are wrong. If you think you're keeping your full fee, you are wrong. Yes, all the dollars that you make by seeing a session will come into the business, but what's left is never going to be that full fee. There are a lot of costs associated with having a business. There are administrative costs. There's all those softwares that you are going to need to have a business. There's the state registration fee. There is payment processing fees. There are services that you're going to need to pay for. You may hire a biller or an admin or an accountant for your taxes, which you should do, by the way. And all of those things cost money. So what you actually get to keep and take home is never going to be 100% of the fee that you make. And I see this happen often where someone will work for a group practice and they'll start getting resentful and saying, you know what, I'm only getting to take home 50% of what I make. And that's not fair. This practice owner is sticking it to me. And the truth is, it's really expensive to run a group practice. There's a lot of things that you don't have to do when you work for a group practice. You're not scheduling. You're not doing your own billing. You're not worrying about running payroll or taxes or software and paying for all of those things. So when you are in solo practice, you do need to worry about all of those. And again, solo practice can be a really, really great thing, but you don't get to keep your full fee. Just like the group practice that you were working for before does not get to keep half of the money that you make. That is simply not how it goes. Mistake number 4 that practice owners make when starting a business: they forget about taxes. This is one that I see commonly as an accountant, and it can be a really, really expensive mistake, unfortunately. When you are in business for yourself, you are going to be responsible for the taxes. Now, there's a lot of intricacies to specifically how you get taxed depending on the legal and the tax entity. But most of the time when you are starting a business, you have not paid taxes on the profit in your business yet. So you may be responsible for paying quarterly estimated taxes. And if you don't, or if you just don't deal with it, right, if you just avoid the situation altogether, there's a chance that you're getting to the end of the year. Maybe you're spending an entire weekend or multiple days putting together all the numbers for your business. You're probably forgetting a few things too. And then you're bringing that to an accountant, hopefully, right? You should work with an accountant when you are a business owner to do your taxes. You should not DIY your taxes as a business owner. So let's say you bring that paperwork to your accountant and they say, oh, great, you made, X $1,000 in profit last year. That means you're going to owe, I'm going to throw out a number, $10,000, $15,000 in taxes. And that number can be catastrophic if you have not prepared for it. So when you are starting your own business, just know that every dollar of profit is not yours. Some of it is the government's money. Some of it you will have to pay in federal and state taxes. And so I highly recommend that you earmark funds from the very, very beginning for paying your taxes. You should set an amount aside every week, every month, however often it makes sense for you, so that at the end of the year, you have money available to pay for those taxes. Us with mistake number 5, which is a doozy. Therapists often feel guilty for wanting to make a profit in their business. There, I said it. You are starting a practice for a lot of good reasons, probably to help people. That is a very valid and good reason. But it is okay for you to want to make a profit and pay yourself well. That is a very legitimate thing. But practice owners often feel guilty about that because they feel like, well, I should be helping people. I should be doing good in the world. And I shouldn't be focusing on profit because that's not the most important thing. And I will agree that helping people is probably the most important thing for you. But profit deserves a seat at the table, and profit is really, really important for a practice and for you as the business owner. Profit is what allows the business to keep surviving and thrive. The more profit you make, the bigger the impact that you can have. If you are just barely scraping by, you are probably not your very best self in the therapy room, but also there is a chance that if there's a bump in the road, your business won't even survive and make it another day to continue to help people. And so I do think it's important to have a focus on profit and make sure every practice is profitable. And that's part of what my team and I do every single day, because that increases the longevity and the impact that your practice can ultimately have. And listen, in most cases, and certainly in my cases, we work, yes, because we love the work and we want to help people. But we also work because we need money to put food on the table, gas in the car, pay the mortgage or the rent, or all the things that come with being a human being with a life and with obligations. And you should not feel guilty about needing to take care of yourself and of your family and wanting to make a good living doing so. That is a really, really reasonable thing. We don't fault plumbers for needing to make a profit in their business and be able to pay themselves. They're coming to your house, they're providing a service, they're fixing the things that need to be fixed, and they should make money doing that. We don't fault a teacher for needing to make a living. And granted, teachers should make a much better living than they do, but we don't fault teachers for needing to get paid to be there, right? They're not volunteers. They care about the children and they want our children to do well, but they absolutely should get paid for the work that they do. So I want you to feel like you deserve to make a good living by being a practice owner. Thinking about starting your own private practice, or you're in the first year or two of private practice, I encourage you to check out my brand new course, which is Money for Therapists Practice Startup. It covers all the things that you need to know on the financial side of starting your practice, and it is really, really affordable. We made this course very accessible because I want to get this in the hands of as many practice owners as possible, to help therapists who are starting their practice avoid these common financial mistakes and even more. So in the course, I cover things like what entity should you have when starting your practice, how to choose which entity you're going to select, all the filings that are required, how to choose a bank, what bank accounts you're going to need, how to make money in your account, like how is money flowing in and out of this business. Understand that because it's going to make you a much better business owner. I want you to know about what business expenses are deductible and which ones are not. I want you to know how you can pay yourself. I want you to also have some basics on how to build your dream team. Once you're able to afford to start outsourcing some things, who do you need to have around you? So I've included basics you need to know to get your practice up and running. I also include in this course a calculator that's going to help you establish how much money is going to come into the business depending on a bunch of different factors that you are going to decide on and that you have say in, and how much you can expect to take home based on those numbers. So you'll get access to our proprietary calculator that you can use to see how many clients do I need to see? What does my rate need to be for this to make financial sense for me and to sustain the lifestyle that you want as well? So I encourage you to go check this out. Go to the show notes for the link, or you can also go to greenoakaccounting.com/startup to check out this brand new course and its jam-packed value. We put everything in here that you need to know on the financial side to get started in your practice, and I hope you will go check it out. Take care. James, could you add this audio after Mistake number 2, I'm not able to do it with my software. Mistake number 3, I want to tell you really quick, at the end of this episode, I'm going to give you a lot more details on my brand new course called Money for Therapists, Practice Startup. If you want to check it out right now, you can go to greenoakaccounting.com/startup. But this is a brand new, super accessible course that is going to teach you everything you need to know financially to get your practice off the ground. Stay tuned until the very end to get all the details on the Practice Startup course, including everything that's included, or check it out at greenoakaccounting.com/startup.